Well, hello and welcome back. Well, that wasn't weird at all, was it? There you go. That'll be a front page video. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to just start. Right. So, got your tea, got your coffee, whatever it is. We all know that tea's not as good as coffee, but really, that's kind of like saying my dad can beat up your dad. So, you know. And I know what you're saying. Come on, Colin. You don't really know who your dad is. And although there's an element of truth to that, what's my point? Coffee's better than tea. If you disagree or agree, throw it down in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. How do you like your coffee? How do you like your tea? Do you not like either of them or either? And are we going to debate now the proper pronunciation of either and either? How long can I ramble nonsensically for? Apparently, it's 50 seconds. So, product review time. We're looking at the Vic Firth stick. Now, I am not endorsed by Vic Firth. You'll also see in the videos that I've done a product review of the Ludwig snare. I should have said there, but I'm not endorsed by Ludwig, at least at the time of this recording, and I'm not currently endorsed by Vic Firth either. However, that doesn't mean that I don't endorse them, right? So to me, there's a difference. They don't endorse me in the sense that they don't have a connection with me, but I fully endorse their product because I believe so strongly in it. As you're about to find out. So for me personally, this is the Vic Firth SD9 Driver. It's rock maple, and it's a 16-inch stick, so it's got a nice length to it. Sometimes you can get really long sticks, and that'll give you a fair amount of power. But then when it comes to speed, not that everything is about speed, but when you got a really long stick, that can be quite cumbersome to get around the kit and to come back if you're not. You should get enough resonant or rebound. You should get enough rebound from that to throw it back. But again, the bigger the stick, the more wood there is, the more weight behind it. So slower but more powerful. This guy, being rock maple, it's fairly light for the size of stick it is. This is the SD9 Driver. What I've come to understand with personal experience is this kind of it's like the Goldilocks zone between a 5A and a 5B, maybe between a 5A and a 2B. I would say more though like a 5A and 5B. It's kind of in the sweet spot there. So it's a little bit thicker than a 5A. So it does take a little bit getting used to if that's what you're familiar with. But it's got a nice the perfect taper here. Personally, for me, for what I want, it's not so. It's quite a short taper, so you get a fairly large amount of wood before it starts getting away from itself. And again, that's going to help give more power. If I'm incorrect in any of this, please do speak. What I'm saying doesn't become sacrosanct, and it's not, verbatim. These are things that I'm sure different people have experienced different outcomes with, but personally, the less tapering that you get on the shoulder there, the less tapering, the more wood there is, the harder your hits are gonna be. It's gonna be more powerful because you've got more wood behind it. You've got more weight there. I also like the fact that it's a narrow taper, in the sense where it doesn't start for a while because it's less likely to break because it's not so thin at the top there, and the bit here, I would say the UPS of this is the tip, the barrel tip. To me, that gives best of both worlds because you've got ball tip, acorn, barrel, and don't even get me started on nylon. They shouldn't even exist personally, but hey, there we go. It works for some people, and fill your boots. But the barrel tip, to me at least, in my opinion, the ball tip gives very precise, accurate, very articulate kind of defined sound. So you get a lot of stick definition out of that because you've got a very small amount of surface area contacting the receiving surface, whether that be a cymbal or a drum head. And the acorn tip, you've kind of got basically all contact because it's got that angle. Depending on the gradient of that acorn tip, you will have a fairly large amount of contact. Whereas the barrel tip, you kind of get halfway in between. Again, similar to the thickness, you got a goldilocks zone there you get a bit more contact than a ball tip, less than an acorn tip, and so it gives you excellent stick definition this guy does. This is great stick definition, great articulation. So it gives you enough to be able to get those intricate patterns on the ride cymbal. If, for example, you know, if you're doing, if you got a shuffle or triplets or your jazz ride pattern, any of that kind of stuff where there's little bits of grace notes and it's a bit more intense, you can kind of pick all of those different parts out because you've got that nice little bit of definition in there, but you also get the enough surface area whereby you can really lay into it and it convincingly takes off. You don't have to go to the shoulder, for example. You can ride that and get a fairly big attack and a large sound out of just that tip, whereas with the ball you're really only going to be getting a louder ping, a louder articulated hit. So yeah, I mean, 6 minute video about sticks, and I don't even think I'm finished. Again, try every stick that you can. I've tried sticks of the company that rhymes with what would it be? Brobark, I guess you could say. They sound like Brobark. I've tried Brobark sticks. Great sticks. I didn't really feel fully involved in that. I didn't feel, you know, I used a fairly different array of sizes that they had to offer of the Brobark variety. Brobark, I meant to say. I've used those sticks actually for a while, and they were. It's not that they're bad sticks. None of these things are because these companies are bad. They are all great at what they do. It's just when you find a home, you know it's the right place. You know that that's the right one for you, sort of deal. I've also tried. Darth Maul, I guess, because it's the other Darth, and Star Wars fans and drum fans would know what I mean by that stick brand. Again, great sticks, but again, after a bit of time with them, just didn't feel right. Not that they're bad; they're great. They do what they need to do. And I also tried. How could you? Voss Mabos. I mean, that's a less common stick brand, hidden in that rhyming. But they were good sticks too. None of these bad sticks. But what I think I'm trying to address here is, I didn't just grab these and say, these are the ones. Everything else, go away. I don't care about you. To be honest, actually, these were stuck into my hands by Bob Armstrong, who I'm very grateful for doing so because I fell in love with them. But at that point, I had tried all the other sticks, 7As, 5As, 5Bs, 2Bs. Even I think, I don't know what came across me, but I even went to 8As. And at one point, I had very thin timpani sticks, no head. They were just straight, thin shaft. I don't know what I was thinking. But again, I've been around the proverbial stick block, if you will, and so you know, these have come to be something that are incredibly comfortable. They do exactly what they're supposed to. They're thick enough to get a nice attack, but the wood, the rock maple, is a lighter wood, so it's not as heavy as the thickness of this stick would dictate that it should be, if you know what I mean. So this stick in maybe Japanese oak or hickory, it'd be like a baseball bat going around the kit. It'd be a different story. So this is just the perfect blend. They've come up with everything correctly here, and the kind of balancing point, if you will, where you'll get the most kind of amount of rebound. And I don't know if they did this intentionally, but it usually is around where the flag is. Now that will differ. It does kind of inch a bit above it. It kind of hovers around that area, but I don't know if this is by intelligent design on Vic Firth's part. But I mean, he was the first guy to standardize drumsticks, so I wouldn't put it past him and the factory and the team to think of something this clever. But it does seem like every time they've got their flags, wherever their flags are, seem to be the best kind of rebound point to get your fulcrum. Again, could be wrong. They might not have meant it that way, but it usually works out that way. So they're incredibly well balanced. They feel great. Yeah, that's what I'm very impressed with these sticks. They are very good. They're incredible, actually. And So that's why I'm reviewing them and saying so many great things about them, because they're wonderful. And they have to be good if I'm not being paid or endorsed to say any of this. So let's be honest here, you know. So there we go. There's not much more to say on that, really. I've given loads of tips in how to pick sticks in my pick sticks video, so go and check that out. But when you do identify the higher pitch stick, just put a little dot on the bottom of that one, so you know that that's the one to be put on your ride cymbal, because the higher pitch frequency stick should always be on the ride cymbal to give the highest, brightest kind of sonic output of the ride cymbal, at least when you're in the jazz setting. You know, you might not notice it as much when you're going rock and heavier, but there you go. Vic Firth SD9 Driver is a beautiful stick, and again, I wouldn't want you to go and just buy it because I said it's nice. If you do come to buy this, I want it to be because you've tried a bunch of other sticks, the Brobarks, the Darth Mauls, and the Boss Ma Boss. I want you to have tried those, even if it's only in the store, ideally for at least a week. Give them all a go. Buy a pair of each, but when you do buy any of these pairs, go into the store and they're tangible items, right? So go and pick them up, feel them, get the right pair, because not every pair is going to be the right pair, if you know what I mean. You know, some pairs might have 2 dead sticks in it, so you can't just go off of eBay and Amazon and just buy them because they're there. You need to get proper sticks by feeling them, hearing them, experiencing them. So go and try everything, and if by that point you end up on the SD9 Driver, then welcome to the SD9 Driver Club. But don't just buy anything because somebody says so, just some guy in a flat cap or anybody, you know. There you go. Great sticks, and yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great time.